Coming to you from Final Third Cigar and Whiskey Lounge in Ingalls, Indiana, Indiana's exclusive Aladino Cigar Lounge. It's the Final Third Podcast.
Well, welcome back to the Final Third Podcast. I'm Rob.
And I'm Isaiah, and we got Mike again with us today. I mean, he's a staple. You'll end up having to introduce yourself.
Yeah, yes, you will.
I'm Mike.
Mike is our what are we going to call you? Our production engineer.
There you go. Let's stick with that.
Production man of all crafts.
Yeah.
Video man.
Street
dog,
Jesus.
Dog treat dude.
Street Jesus.
Yeah, that was my first nickname.
Street Jesus.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I didn't have a nickname at the studio in Louisville. It was just, it's Bother. Bother's here.
Yeah.
One of the replay guys called me Both.
Both?
It was just saying Bother was too hard.
Oh,
so he
okay.
just called me Both.
Yeah.
And then I wore my hair down like one day, like 6.5 years ago, and they were like, "You look like Jesus." I'm like, oh, okay.
Said, thank you.
They were like, "You know what? That jacket's kind of ratty too. You look like Street Jesus."
Wow.
Like,
and somehow that's easier to say than both.
Right.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, production engineer. That sounds good.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
This is a high quality podcast coming to
Exactly.
you from a professional recording studio and not a cigar lounge.
Exactly.
On a snowy
So
day.
today we're going to be smoking the Crowned Heads limited edition 2023 Bellicoso, which is the original Mil DS blend, but just in the Bellicoso. And what we found with this cigar is it actually smokes way different than the original in a good way. So it's kind of cool to see just how a shape can completely change the profile of the cigar.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And both are brought the bourbon for today. Would you bring us?
Sure. So we got some Copper and Kings bourbon. It's a blended product brought to you by Copper and Kings. It is a blend of 3 bourbons finished in apple brandy barrels. It's 111 proof. The 3 blends were not made public, but I was able to find out what they were thought to have been, and that is consisted of 64% 5-year Bardstown bourbon, 24% 10-year-old Barton, and 12% 15-year Heaven Hill.
Nice.
So it was an interesting blend.
Yeah. So
In
none of
a
it's
brandy
theirs.
barrel.
They're not.
Right.
Are they distilling bourbon or just brandies right now? Do you
So
know?
I think they're just doing the brandies currently, but this is not their first crack at doing something like this. I think they did their first one in 2022, but it was not as complex as this one. It was more of just let's take some MGP and toss it into a brandy barrel.
Which honestly,
very cool.
Still probably pretty good.
Probably pretty good, yeah. Yeah, so this one, it's 111 proof, so it's not bad. I drove all over looking for it because I didn't have it.
Where'd you end up finding it?
21st Amendment on 96th Street. Fishers.
Oh, okay.
You did drive all over.
Yeah. Well, we were out looking for other stuff, and I went to a couple Total Wines looking for the 1924, and didn't find them up in.
No,
I don't think it's in the stores quite. It's supposed to be shipping out today, but not delivering until next week.
Good.
But
I saw that the distillery's got it.
Yeah,
Wait.
the retailers might have it first of the week. We should have ours middle of the week.
Did you see the catch with getting it from the distillery though?
No.
You have to do the tour. So in addition to the $120 MSRP from the distillery, you also have to pay for the tour to get there.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad idea, but
no, it's not bad at all.
I'm seeing a lot of people I just wanted to stop by and get a bottle on the way home.
Yeah.
And they won't let them do it.
Sorry about your luck.
Yeah.
It is. So we're talking about Old Forester 1924, which is their new release in their Whiskey Row series. I am actually impressed and intrigued to see what they're going to do with that. And the interesting thing is that it is looking like it's one of those mid to low tier allocations. But you're talking about a 10-year-old Old Forester product, which is unheard of.
Right.
Like they do not age that long for
And I've
anything.
seen conflicting information, obviously, coming from multiple sources on the thought process behind doing the 10-year product with them, or that it was going to be some sort of annual release. A limited annual release, actually. So it was interesting.
From Old Forester, I think they called it a limited annual release. So that's interesting. But to put it in perspective for you guys, like the Old Forester Blue Label single barrel proofs, those are normally 4 and 5 year old product.
Right.
They have heat cycled warehouses, so they're able to trick the whiskey a little bit more. A lot of their products are in that 4 to probably 6 year range. I'm not sure the age statement on birthday bourbon. I don't know where those shoot for.
I don't know either.
And I'm not sure that's posted anywhere. But a 10-year-old age stated product from Old Forester. I think there were a couple older in the 117 series from them, but a standard release. Rob. But a standard release 10-year-old product at 100 proof, which is probably the highest proof that you're going to be able to get their older product in, because birthday bourbon is 92 and a half or something like that.
Lower.
So, that's that.
I'm excited to try it. This has been kind of the first big hyped product in this year, or even since maybe early December, late November. And it's kind of cool to see them get that first one out of the gates like that. Sure. So I'm excited.
One that's actually worth trying.
Right.
Yeah. This Mil Diaz on the cold draw is all it's like cinnamon and probably fig Newton. That's what I'd say.
Little graham cracker maybe.
Yeah.
So we chose the Mil Diaz Bellicoso today because coming out with the Maduro.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
At TP, what's that, this month?
Yes, actually, I've already got them on order.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, so TP will be in Vegas this year.
And it's just in a couple weeks.
Yeah, so they said that they would be announcing or releasing them after that.
I'm intrigued to see the makeup of it. If it's going to be a regular release Sumatra or...
I
think otherwise.
I think it's a broadleaf.
Cool.
I think it's broadleaf. It's either broadleaf or San Andreas. I'm not sure which.
Please be San Andreas.
Yeah.
Please be San Andreas.
But even broadleaf will be good on that cigar, I think. Well, that's a good point, too. You know, it could be Sumatra. It could be Habano. The name Maduro is not an actual leaf. The name Maduro is really more about the color. How long it's been fermented. So if you see Maduro, a lot of people think it's going to be broadleaf or San Andreas, but anything can be Maduro. That's the color. But I will say the darker colors do tend to make a little bit more rich flavor notes in a cigar. So even if you say you don't like Habano, you get a dark Habano, you may love it because it's going to give you a lot more of those deep, richer notes.
So I read through some of the stuff from Mil Diaz on their article that they put together for TPE. It is a Connecticut broadleaf wrapper over an Ecuadorian Habano binder and fillers that come from the Condega, Jalapa
and Ometepe
regions of Nicaragua.
So the three major regions of Nicaragua, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Which I think that's very similar, other than the wrapper on the regular Mil Diaz.
I thought there was a Peruvian component
to the new Maduro.
No, to the regular release.
Was there? There might be.
Regular, I think that was one of the differences. They said that they didn't want to just swap out the wrapper.
Gotcha.
So
I would think with Peru being a fairly small region, I mean, maybe it's bigger than I think it is. I would think there's limited amount of tobacco coming out from there.
I mean, genuinely, and take this for what it's worth. I've been in Peru, I think 3 times now, and I've never seen a tobacco leaf there. So and I have been in the boonies.
Same way, man. I've been in Ecuador many times, and I've seen tons of flowers, but I haven't seen tobacco plants growing. So must be on the other side of the mountain.
Must be.
Well, it's funny. I drive through Oldham County where my dad and my brother live, and there's just a tobacco farm on the side of the highway.
Yeah.
It's easier to see.
All right, so I'm going to bring something up.
Okay.
So last week, and honestly, it's not just last week. We've said this many times. You know, we have opinions, We share our opinions.
This is an unfiltered podcast.
It is. And if you don't like our opinion, that's totally fine. We're not asking you to like our opinions. I'll tell you what, I've got a lot of friends that do things and say things that I don't like, but we're still friends. And that's the way it is. But this last week, we had a couple people that were a little irritated with one of the things, or a couple of the things we said. And first of all, we apologize that you felt like we were personally attacked. Honestly, it wasn't an attack on one person. Honestly, it was more of an attack on a tactic or an idea. And, honestly, my opinion doesn't change. I still don't think that flipping bottles and selling secondary is a good thing for the industry. Mm-hmm. I'll never agree to that. And I'm trying to think what the other one was now.
The marketing.
Oh, the marketing. We all understand marketing, and marketing is one of those things where you're trying to sell a product, and I think we called out. We never called anybody out, and we will not call anybody out by name. We'll call out Eric Jansen by name because he likes to be called out, and we have fun with him.
He's a friend of the shop. He's been on the show multiple times.
But we won't call out who we're talking about ever. And honestly, if you think about it, what we were talking about probably about 5 different situations that we knew of in both of those situations. Mm-hmm. And it just happened to be that a couple people felt convicted about what we said and didn't like it. And that's okay. We're not mad about that. But we want to let everyone know, it's like, we may have opinions you don't like, and that's totally fine. Yeah. But you don't need to sell us that your opinion is better than ours.
Well,
because
the
honestly,
other thing is like, please do not hit up our inboxes on Facebook or text us and say, I thought we were friends. Like,
it has nothing to do with friendship.
All this stuff. Like, just because we share different opinions does not mean we can't be friends.
No.
And does not, it also, because we are friends, doesn't mean we have to support the organization that you're with.
Right.
It just doesn't matter.
Right, exactly. So, again, we apologize for anybody that feels like we're attacking personally. That's never the intention. But I'm not changing my opinions on things I believe in. And these are some of the things in the industry I feel like are not good. So it is what it is. I feel like the things we did share, which probably people are going to go back and go, what the hell did they say last time? We'll go back because it was really not that big of a deal.
It's around the 39-minute mark.
Is it? Okay,
yeah.
Okay. Because Isaiah went back and checked to make sure there was nothing that actually slipped out.
We got enough bitter texts this week that I was just like, did we mess up?
Yeah.
I went back and I listened to it 2 or 3 times and was just like, did I say anything out of line? Did I call anybody out? Did I call out anybody specifically?
Yeah.
Now, there were some examples in there that are things that we have seen from some groups.
Yeah.
And you know what? Those examples might have come from your group.
Yeah.
And
in all
there's
honesty,
a reason that we didn't put the name in there.
I will tell you right now, I can guarantee you both of those examples we talked about have come out of every freaking bourbon group in the entire country.
Yeah.
It was not just one person or 2 people or 2 groups, whatever we're talking about. So this is really a call out to every bourbon group to do better.
Yeah.
It's simple. Do better. Bourbon collectors, do better. It's
Other
simple.
thing is,
make this a better industry.
When we do an opinion segment and you don't like it, or maybe it's some things that apply to you, you know what? The reason it hurts you so much sometimes is because
you're guilty.
Yeah, and even if
some
not,
of these things, at a certain point, you've heard us call out Starlight. You've heard us talk about Old 55, and we'll name these people. But that's because we love the brand and are a little bit disappointed with them right now.
Yeah.
And it's like, these are brands we love. We know they can do amazing things.
Right.
And we're just calling them to be a little bit of a step higher. Are they going to listen to us? Probably not.
Probably not.
You know what? Nobody cares about us.
No.
So if you were hurt by last week's show, just remember that.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about us.
And we still love you, so it's fine. But moving on. But still, we just want to make sure everyone knows, just because we have an opinion doesn't mean it's gold. And if you don't have the same opinion, that's totally fine. We don't care. We're just asking for the industry to do better, period.
That's it.
Move on.
It's good to be unbiased, but also have opinions.
Exactly. All right. So
no malicious intent.
Let's talk about the Copper and Kings here a little bit.
Yeah, I've already been drinking on it.
Yeah.
It's delicious. The apple brandy really shows through on the
See,
palate.
I can smell the nose a little bit on it.
There's an oaky presence that shows up on the nose more than it does the palate, but it in no way tastes.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
a
see.
super
I
good
don't
blend.
remember how long it was in the barrel for. I didn't seem to find
Well,
that part.
oh my God, that's got so much fruit.
yeah.
It's got a
and
lot of
honey,
red fruit on the
and
nose.
I mean, it's got so many different flavors in it.
Yeah, it kind of does like with the apple brandy and what I'm supposing is the Barton component. It's kind of like a fruit cocktail thing.
Oh
for
yeah,
me with
big
that
time.
almost artificial banana thing.
that was the
coming
first
through.
thing that Jen
Yeah.
picked out was the Barton component.
Yeah.
'Cause it
You
was
know, the
super
funny thing
prevalent.
is, if that was just a little bit darker, I would almost think that's one of those Garrison Brothers picks.
Yeah.
It's got that same kind of viscosity and burst of flavor all the way
Yeah.
through it. That is a
Yeah.
great bottle, man.
It wasn't bad. Retail from them was $65.99.
Yeah.
Done.
I
Done
found
every
it
day
at
of the week.
21st for $70, so I overpaid $5. But to find
Yeah.
it, in this area, at least in this market, I wasn't really
Not too
expecting to
bad.
find it at all.
Yeah.
Just because we're here.
I'm gonna have to look and see if I can find that on the
It's good.
distribution list. That's delicious.
Yeah, that came out October 2023. So
Oh, and for selling it,
Yeah.
then I should be able to get some.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Is
so
this?
it didn't seem like it was limited.
It's not limited. Okay, that's what I was
not
going to
that I
ask you.
can see. I'm not really sure who they distributed to. I think there were 5 places in Indiana that they had listed, and 21st was not one of them.
Oh,
So
okay.
I can tell you that Copper and Kings does not update their distribution list on their website.
No need.
Which most people don't.
No.
So that's okay. As long as you
111
show me
proof.
that there's a couple places in Indiana that have it, I'll
Yeah.
go somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll find
exactly.
it somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we talked about it a little bit last week too, about the sonic aging that they do, which is kind of cool.
We did talk about that, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit, just how they have, I think, 5 or 6 subwoofers in the basement, and they blare out a certain bass note, and the alcohol molecule is heavier than the water molecule, and it rattles around in the barrel to make
It's
aging.
marketing. It's
marketing.
marketing. It's also swishing around the liquid. But
Yeah.
Yes.
The fact that your
It's
whiskey's
supposed to
musical
collide with
in
the
some
alcohol
way,
instead of the
I-
water.
I don't buy that it's doing that much, other than making sure things rotate around in the barrel.
But again,
It's loud as
it's
hell.
a cool story.
Oh,
Right.
it is.
Yeah.
And you know what? It
And it's
sells
on the label. It
bottles.
says Sonic Age.
I mean, isn't that what people thought was the most amazing thing with Blackened? It's like,
Well,
oh my God, this stuff is.
Wasn't Blackened a Copper and Kings collab?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I didn't.
For whatever reason, I remember the original batch being done at Copper and Kings. Past that, it's then been like Willet juice inside the bottle. But I don't.
think I've
I'm
only
I'm
had
not going
one.
to stand by that. But it's totally Copper and Kings
Sounds right.
ideas. What they
Who's
did.
David Pickerel? Dave Pickerel.
Who is he?
Dave.
Are you?
I mean, I
kidding
know
me?
who it is, but who's he work for? So I mean,
He's dead.
oh, this says it was a collaboration with Dave Pickerel.
Oh, okay.
That was his last collab.
Oh,
Was it
okay.
really?
Who did he
No,
work
I
for?
don't.
I'm trying to remember.
Everybody who's
Oh,
anybody. Like
when he finished, wasn't it Brown Foreman?
I think Brown Foreman was the
That's
most
what I
recent,
was
wasn't
thinking
it?
was Brown Foreman. Yeah.
I don't know. He was responsible for so many brands making it big. Probably most notably of which is Whistle Pig.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was like the
he put
pioneer
them
from
on
that.
the map.
Well, not the pioneer, but yeah, he
Yeah.
gave him a name for sure.
It doesn't say where it was distilled on that one, but it said that Dave Pickerel was the one that collaborated
Yeah,
with
I
him
mean,
on it.
I wasn't saying that Copper and Kings distilled it for him, but it would surprise me if they were. If there's another Sonic aging warehouse somewhere, it just seems like a lot of
I
money.
mean, it
that
wouldn't be
nobody
that hard.
needs
You
to
get a
spend.
warehouse and put up big subwoofers and just flare
Yeah.
out
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
Little
age it with the
Metallica.
brown note.
the brown note.
You can't go down there. Yeah, I don't know. So there's a couple other collabs with Copper and Kings this year, though, with Bardstown Bourbon. So it seemed kind of cool. The double Mistel barrel,
Okay.
and then Pfeiffer Paffett. I think it's a
Yeah.
cab.
Okay, so the Pfeiffer Pavitt cab, you're talking a Bardstown collab?
Yes.
So their original collaboration with Pfeiffer Pavitt is one of the most beautiful finished whiskeys that I've ever tried. And there was a long period in which I think I think it's been about 4 or 5 years ago, where Pfeiffer Pavitt had a fire at their winery and it burned a lot down, and Bardstown just said, "Hey, we're not able to do this anymore," just because like they're trying to build their stocks back up so that they can continue their living. So, the fact that that's coming back out is amazing. I think I'll be interested to taste it, having tasted the original one, because that was one of those. It was probably $160 at the time when it came out, and that was the one bottle at that time in my life that I thought I might pay that. I might actually pay that.
So I have a hard time with some of those from Bardstown because I gotta try them. It's so hard to.
But at that point in time, Bardstown was completely sourced using high-age stuff, whether it was Barton stock or I think at one point they used some Heaven Hill. They were using a lot of George Dickel at that time as well. But you were talking high-age stuff in that 12 to 16-year category, and then they were finishing it in something as crazy as a Pfeiffer Pavitt.
And this when did that first one happen with them?
Oh, I'll have to see. I'll bet it was 2019 or 2020.
Because thinking about that, whenever they had the idea for this Copper and King bourbon, Bardstown could have supplied all their juice for it. I mean, if it's the blend that they said it was, which is the Heaven Hill, the Barton, and then Bardstown, it could have been stuff that they just had been sitting on.
Didn't you say it was like majority was Bardstown?
The majority is supposedly is 64% Bardstown, 24 was
it's not
Barton,
on here, is it?
And then 15-year Heaven Hill. No, it's not.
I
found
got
it
you.
I sourced that myself.
Good job.
I don't remember who said it, but
someone wrote it down. You read it.
Someone wrote it down, and I read it. I believed it.
Good job.
So it has to be true.
It has to be true.
So
Just on the internet.
The original
on the internet.
Pfeiffer Pavitt was a 10-year-old Tennessee. The new one is a 9-year-old Tennessee, and the original Pfeiffer Pavitt came out in 2020. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, they could have had some of these barrels sitting around that they're
Could
using
be.
now.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, the retrohale in this thing is absolutely freaking amazing.
I've been talking too much.
It's
and let
spice.
mine go
It's
out.
got a little bit of spice to it, but it's not overwhelming the palate. Just everything shines through, and it's really pairing nicely with this. I need to find a bottle of this.
I get a little cinnamon on the retro with the some pepper.
It's got a
with
real-
the bourbon, it's interesting because I got like candied apples almost.
it
on
pulls out the
finish. So
candy
it's like
fruit.
cinnamon candy fruit.
Yeah,
It's an interesting note.
There's a real leathery component for me too on the retro
Mhm.
ale.
If you
I
guys
love
see any
this
bottles, just let me know or buy it, and I'll pay you back for it. Because I
I'll go
really
grab
want
a
to get
couple
one.
more. Yeah,
If you're close to it, don't
I'll
drive
be up
out of
there
your
tonight.
way.
We're going to 1933, so I'll
Okay.
I'll
Oh,
grab some
that's
from
right. It's
there,
right there. We're going to be there in a day or two as well. So
yeah, I'll grab the rest of them. Speaking of fires, said fires at
Yeah.
Oh,
Pfeiffer
yeah.
Pavitt. New series, the Bourbon Blaze, is out. It's a docu-series. I'm led to believe it's a docu-series.
Yeah, there's
It's
only
not
one
very
episode
local.
out.
It's a free app you can download. They have other things
What
as
is it
well.
on?
Very local.
Very local.
Never
It is
heard of it.
it's
before
free.
until this.
It's based out of Louisville.
Sounds
Yeah.
free.
It is very free. It is a very free app.
Yeah.
But I everything I read about this little documentary,
Are they doing a
Sounded
Heaven
like
Hill Fire?
they are.
thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it is. It's called
Yeah.
Bourbon Blaze, and it seems like it's a docu-series documentary that depicts the happenings of the Heaven Hill Fire in 1996 and
That's
everything
cool.
that had happened.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like there's always somebody new to bourbon, and
Yeah.
I feel like I
Yeah.
see it like once every couple years. Somebody shares the article, and they're like, "Oh my God, did you know there was a fire?" Like,
Well, it was a
Yeah.
huge deal.
It was.
It was almost devastating.
yeah,
So,
$30 million dollars in damage is what they said.
yeah.
The first episode was like it's 22 minutes, so it's really short.
Yeah.
They pretty much just go through talking about how all the distilleries came because there was a beam at every single distillery
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the 90s. So
There's still almost.
There still are, yeah.
is.
it's still family heritage at all of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
But how they all came together and kind of helped. They spent a day with their mash bill and did everything
Oh, that's awesome.
as a community. So it was really cool.
I bet they're sad that they did that now. I'm just kidding.
We talked about it afterwards, and we thought, I wonder if that would stay true to today.
I
With
think
all
it
the
would.
competition in the
I
market.
think it would.
Yeah, I think it would. The funny thing is,
Still a good old boys club.
now that you talk about that and people running Heaven Hill Mash Bill on there still, like, you got to think about some of those older Heaven Hill releases. Like, was this aged or was this made at the Beam Distillery? Or
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, could have been. Yeah.
kind of. It would be a cool history thing to know about, but past
Well, it'd
that,
be really
doesn't
cool if
We
matter.
they
might
would've-
find out.
If they would have had the foresight, which I would be really shocked if they didn't, if they were to take, 10 barrels from the Beam location, 10 barrels from Heaven Hill, 10 barrels from wherever else and actually did 375 bottles of one from each one of them from that that would be freaking amazing to see if there's much difference, or if the distillery operation at this level now is just makes the same shit. You just have to age it. Yeah.
Well, that's why the limestone water is so valuable in Kentucky, because there's 98,000 barrels that spilled into the river. So
all that limestone
it's still
turning
bourbon. It's not
brown.
even water. It's just you're just using bourbon. So,
That's great.
You got to fire
Yeah.
up your bidet.
Yeah,
It's just
exactly.
bourbon. It's sanitizing. Man.
Exactly.
But it was cool. Like, they talked about, the fires are happening. There's neighborhoods that are catching fire, and trees and forests, and one of the beams runs back to the main house, and he's grabbing a chest of yeast. So
Yeah.
they saved the original yeast
The
strain
gold.
So
Yeah.
That's what led me to think that this was a short series, because I feel like they probably shouldn't have given that away in the first episode.
Yeah.
And
Like-
it was 22 minutes.
And it was
long.
22 minutes, and I was like, no way, that's it.
Yeah,
They
there's
just jumped right to the fire, and then it was over. And I was like, well, that was 22
that
minutes.
also almost sounds like a college, video they had to make, and someone thought it was
Yeah.
good enough to throw it out there.
Yeah. A
It's
lot
like,
of
this is for a
newspaper
grade.
clippings, a lot of old footage. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I hope they continue. I hope there's more than one episode.
I do too,
So-
because that's one of I've told people quite a bit. There's a couple of series on, I don't know if it's series or just one episodes, but on I think it's Amazon Prime, Neat, and then there's one for Scotch as well. I think I don't remember what
Haven't
they
heard
are,
that
what
one.
they're called.
I've heard of Neat. I haven't
Neat's the
made it
best
through
one.
there yet.
I mean, unless you're just a Scotch guy, I mean, Neat is actually the one that is really good and informative for people.
Well, and the other piece of bourbon history that came out on Netflix was in their series called Heist. And they talked about the Wild Turkey and Pappy Van Winkle barrels that went missing.
That's right.
Bottles.
That was a cool history
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah. I mean, and Netflix's docuseries are fantastic.
They are.
A little more involved than Very Local. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that for that one. But
Yeah.
it was well put together for what they had, because obviously you can't do a lot of the things that Netflix does. But
Yeah.
even on the Bourbon Blaze one in the first episode, they were talking to, the Russells, and, they were talking
Oh,
to
that's cool.
all the original
Yeah.
distillers that are still around, and some of the current CEOs, some of the former CEOs. So there's just a bunch of really
So they
cool
got some high
heritage.
caliber people.
Yeah,
talking.
yeah.
That's awesome.
So they were able to pull it off.
it
and
wasn't
hopefully
just
they
like,
keep going.
hey, my grandma worked at the packaging facility.
Yeah.
My mailbox caught on fire. It was a bad day.
So I don't know if you guys saw, which this actually came out a couple weeks ago. Alec Bradley and Starlight released a new uncut series.
I saw that.
I did.
And it's a Gatekeeper from Alec Bradley and the Starlight single barrel bourbon finished in Vino de Naranja.
VDN. Just say VDN.
VDN, that's true.
Yeah.
VDN cast. That makes a lot more sense. Yeah. So this is actually their third release, and I didn't realize that Starlight had done this for 3 years in a row.
I hadn't either.
I think it's to a specific club. I don't think it's anything that ever hits.
Oh, is it? Okay. I didn't read the entire article.
premise. But it is a pretty cool thing to have a relationship with Alec Bradley.
Right.
Yeah. Even though they sold, but I mean, they sold for a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, the Suns, they have done a lot in the whiskey world, even down to sponsoring whiskey channels like ADHD Whiskey and Bourbon Junkies. And I think at one point, maybe Mash and Drum, which those are some of my favorite whiskey channels on YouTube, like as far as whiskey reviews go. But it's been really cool. Like they did multiple cigar collabs with Bourbon Junkies, which is
I've seen a lot of the stuff that they've done with them, and it's really nice. RNDC's here.
Oh, there you go.
Is
I don't
that
know what I got.
one bottle? I
Might
see
be.
it.
Of what? Heaven Hill?
Nope.
Oh, no, they're not Heaven Hill.
1924.
1924. Look at that.
Is it one bottle or one case?
One bottle.
Damn it.
No, it's Ballatin. It's
Oh,
flavored.
it's supposed to be one bottle of Ballatin too. Dang
Oh,
it.
there is a 1924.
Oh, it's backwards.
Yeah.
We're supposed
Holy
to
crap.
get a case of 1924 and one Ballatin.
Hey, bring
Son
that
of
over
a
here.
bitch.
Bring that over here, Tim.
No, Tam, get over here.
Bring it over.
Now, if that's my only bottle, we're not cracking it on the show, guys.
Yeah. No, I'll find it. We'll find one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got
Yeah,
one
Alec
bottle.
Bradley. Alec Bradley's.
So-
that used to be one of my staple cigars. Was the Gatekeeper.
So this
But I
says
just don't-
they're
I don't
selling
know.
it through
Yeah.
Bourbon Outfitter,
Who?
that pack.
Oh, okay.
But there's nowhere to. I mean, it said it was 99.99. You click on it, and it takes you to something that doesn't allow you to buy anything. So
Gotcha.
maybe it sold out.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. I think Bourbon Outfitter is a website that's ran by Justin's House of Bourbon.
It could be.
There's a lot of the bigger Patreon groups that will use Bourbon Outfitter to peddle their picks. So
Yeah, I read that like it was new too. I didn't realize that had been a thing for a couple years now. I guess I don't know why I hadn't really seen that.
yeah.
Yeah, it didn't really say much about it. So, yeah, that was the main thing. I saw that pop up this week. That was the only thing new I saw come out this week. Hey, Tam, can you bring that over here real quick?
The Ballatin.
I don't know why she wants that 1924.
So,
Yeah.
There it is.
anybody on the show or anybody watching the show can see it's the Old Forester 1924 10-year-old. Their Whiskey Row series.
That wasn't so hard
It's
to find. Some guy just walked
Almost
through the front
frozen
door.
right now from the truck, so
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure. But
How do I get that treatment?
what?
Well, like everyone else is looking for it, and this guy just walks in the front door and hands you a
Hands
bottle.
us a bottle.
Man.
Yeah,
Well, you
serious.
got to buy a bunch of shit, and I still only got one bottle.
Well, it's here.
Well, I'll
Try it
I'll
later.
tell you a funny story. Kevin, he's a good friend of ours here, and he's actually a brand manager, I think it is, for RNDC. And he was telling me, he said, I'll make sure you get a bottle of this. I'm like, cool. And then my lady that contacts me weekly to let me know what's in stock said, hey, 1924 is coming out. Would you like some? This is how much a case is. This is how much per bottle. I'm like, yeah, I'll take a couple cases. And she's like, okay, I'll get it on order for you. I'm like, oh, here we go. And then she
Heck
comes back.
yeah.
She's like, I don't know if I can get two. I'm going to try to get you one case. I'm like, that's fine. Give me a case. And then she came back and says, yeah, they told me you're only going to be able to get one or two. I'm like, that's what I thought, but I was just trying to see if maybe
Yeah.
she'd get it
One
for
or two
us.
cases?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. So I was trying to get more.
You have to go do a tour for a case.
So if you're seeing this on Monday, get in here because this is not going to last through the week
No,
probably.
Yeah.
Not a cheap pour, but not a super expensive pour either.
No.
Not compared to what some of the higher dollar bottles are. I mean, this is a $120 bottle, I think it is.
Yeah.
So
Which is a little more MSRP than what I thought it would have been.
Yeah. Same here,
But for the older juice,
The
yeah, I mean,
problem
I guess
is
it
like
makes sense.
$120 is just about standard nowadays.
yeah, for any of the good
Anything
releases, yeah.
mildly limited, they're just like, yeah, we'll price
Yeah.
it over 100. Might as well.
It's hard. It's hard.
It's,
Yeah, like the packaging's the same. The label, like nothing's changed. Colors
that's
are
the
purple.
interesting
Like
thing to me is that it's
No frills.
supposedly an annual limited release, and it just is the Whiskey
cool.
Rose series. Like nothing particularly special about the bottle or.
it does have the story. It's got
Tell
the
the
story
story.
on the front label.
Tell the story.
It says in 1924, Owsley Brown took barrels of whiskey with different mash bills to a warehouse on Howard Street in Louisville, Kentucky, and bottled them as Old Forester. It's a really long sentence. This 10-year-old expression honors the 100th anniversary of this occasion. That is what the story says. It is quite chilly.
It is quite chilly.
Quite chilly. I like the packaging.
I'm gonna get us a little bit just to
Oh,
all
get our
right.
first opinions right out of the bottom
Yeah.
gate here.
Definitely gonna have to let it warm up a tad.
Yes. By the time we're done with the show, we'll try it at
So
the end.
speaking of overpriced pours, I know last week you were talking about your New Year's Eve adventures with your very high-priced pours.
Yeah.
We went to we were gonna go to Juniper on Main last night in Carmel before our show that we went to.
Yeah. What show did you go?
Puddle's Pity Party.
Yeah. What the
Scott's
heck
Nightmares.
Is that?
Puddle's Pity Party, man, he is just actually a silent clown that sings. He won't talk to you.
Was it entertaining?
It's very entertaining. It's very dry humor.
Okay.
Look him up on YouTube. It's hilarious. It gives Scott Johnson nightmares.
There's nothing about that that's appealing to me. Where was he at?
The Tarkington,
I've never even heard of that.
in the Civic Center in Carmel.
Oh, gotcha.
It's like a performing arts center.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a funny dude. He did America's Got Talent.
That's
I don't
what
think
I thought he
won.
was on.
I don't think he won. It was 3-4 years ago now, maybe longer.
Comedians never win AGT.
Yeah, I mean, he just does covers. Like, so
Yeah.
he doesn't have his own music. He does covers of literally everything. But he has an amazing voice, opera type
So
voice.
describe to me the fan base, and like who what is-
Everyone.
Really?
Everyone. There were teenagers that were probably forced to be there.
Yeah.
There were 60 to 70s. Like,
So it's not like an edgy person
It's
thing.
not
it's like,
really.
It's
Nope.
not a hipster thing.
Nope.
It just is.
the guy behind us was hoping for some AC/DC, and the people in front of us were hoping for Adele.
Wow.
So, like,
Wow.
the gamut
That's
was
a
there.
hot take.
So it was, but it was really
Puddle's got
entertaining.
range,
Yeah,
doesn't
he's
he?
got range. His whole show was based around Kevin Costner. I guess he's got a thing for Kevin Costner.
Okay.
And yeah, he used
That's funny.
some pretty funny material from a lot of his movies, and it was really entertaining. But for the extra expensive pour, we were going to go to Juniper on Main for dinner. We pull up at 5:30, no reservation. Didn't think we needed one. Sounded real good. They had a lot of tacos. Walk in the doors, nobody there.
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
bad sign.
Well, I was excited. I was like, we're going to get in and out of here quick.
Yeah, but it also
like,
means
yeah, we
no one
have-
else wants to eat there.
Well, you would think, but apparently everybody wanted to eat there just at 5:45 when they had their reservation. So we were shunned and turned away because we didn't have a reservation. So
Gotcha.
we went to Savor, which was right up the street.
I've heard good things about Savor.
It's amazing. This is our second time being there. We went there for our anniversary last year.
Yeah.
It's a wood fire grill.
Oh, cool.
Henry Najim is
Thank
the head chef there. He is amazing. Wood fire everything.
It's like a meat place mainly. Like, are you
Steak
talking
and
meat?
seafood.
Oh,
So, like,
Yeah.
I had the cipino. Jen had the salmon. But, I mean, everything is steak, seafood,
That's
and
awesome.
great appetizers. So,
gotta love it.
I got me a pour of, they don't have a bourbon list. They don't have a whiskey list. They have a cocktail menu and a wine list, like most places in that area.
Yeah.
So I told our servers, this is really nice. I was like, I can just walk over there and take a look if you don't feel like walking over there and writing it down, because I can ask you 100 questions.
You could take it over there.
She wrote down a couple things that were on new releases because I asked about the 1924.
Yeah.
They didn't have it. But they had Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond,
Which is delicious.
which is delicious. It's what I drink here the
What'd you
majority
pay
of the
it
time.
What'd they
for? $40
pay?
bucks.
No, actually, it wasn't that much. It was
Okay.
22.
Holy, that's still high.
But that's half the price of the bottle.
It
at
is.
mine.
Right. So I was
It is.
expecting it to be more like 25 to 30.
Yeah.
But
that should be.
I needed it.
That should be
I needed it.
$12 maybe.
It should be. But
Well, and that's the thing too. I know when it first came out and I started buying the cases of it,
It did just drop in price.
it did,
everywhere.
and
it
that's
did.
the thing. It dropped like almost $20 in price.
so we walk in.
Well, not 20, about $15 in price.
So we go to 21st Amendment, and I'm not thinking that we're going to have a good trip there to find this Copper and Kings, because as soon as you walk in the door, they've got the glass case with all their allocations in it. And the first thing
that
that's
are all above secondary pricing.
oh
Yeah.
all the time, and the very first one front and center is Baby Saz, and it's $62.
Jesus.
God.
And there's
know that
Buffalo Trace
Meyer
next
has
to
it?
it.
Yeah,
I
everybody
guess not.
has it now.
So I'm thinking that we're going to have a bad trip, and I'm not going to find this Copper and Kings. Well, Jen's like, there it is, right there. So we picked it up, $5 over. But then behind the register, they have the Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond for $52. I'm like, that's great. I was
That's
like,
not bad.
sometimes that's what Costco has it for.
Yeah.
Usually it's like 46, 48
I saw
now.
mine-
44 today.
Yeah.
at mine.
Yeah, I think that $45
So it's coming
range is
down.
where it's coming to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so some of their stuff is not horrible. But
Which again is a great price for that bottle. When they hit 55, everyone was freaking out a little bit because you're talking about going from a $20 bottle
sure.
1 year older to 55.
Yeah.
But then once people tried it, like it's a different animal. But now bringing it
It's
back in
not
that
McKenna.
$40
Yeah,
range, it's great.
It's not McKenna. Like McKenna 10 was good when it first came out because it was $22. It was really drinkable.
Yeah.
It was light.
I will still pay
Like-
60 for McKenna. That is
See,
one of the most solid
I don't know if
bottles.
I did.
I still
when
like
we did
having
our
I like
pick,
having no
but
bottle and bond more though.
I
than
think I do
McKenna.
too.
Really?
I
I
think
do.
I would spend.
Wow.
I would spend the money on the bottled and bond.
I feel like it's just a little bit more deeper and richer in the flavor notes.
I think you.
Than the McKenna.
I think you lie.
I cracked my McKenna that we got down in our
Yeah.
pick. The last, the one
I
on the
haven't
pick
yet.
I cracked.
Yeah.
But damn it. But no, that I thought it was great. But I'm like you. I'm like, I paid $70 for this at the distillery. I would have much rather paid around 35 for it.
Right.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it was still good.
We're gotten to 17.
It is it's a beautiful old fashioned whiskey. Like just the oakiness in there.
Oh, I bet it
holds
is
up.
good and old-fashioned.
it's- Any cocktail you want to make with it, like you're a little bit sad that you're making cocktails with it
Yeah.
because it's at that price point. But
But like we say all the
goodness.
time, you drink your bourbon the way you like it,
Yeah.
and don't let anybody tell you differently.
I mean, it's like the Seagrass Sazerac.
Oh my God,
That's a $90
It's so good.
bottle in a
It's so
Sazerac.
good.
it is
It's
freaking
amazing.
delicious.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So-
Some cocktails are only as good as the sum of their parts.
Yes.
So make them.
Most are.
True, most are.
Yeah, yeah.
Other times, like if you have a drink that has Campari or Aperol in it, like do not worry about your spirit base.
Yeah.
Because those are just going to mow anything over that you tried to do.
100%.
Yeah.
But those are bitter liqueurs. It's a different story with that as opposed to just regular Angostura bitters or simple syrup.
Well, and just like when we had the Crowned Heads and Angels Envy event here, I never liked Angels Envy Rye ever until we did it with that pairing.
Yep.
I thought, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and try this in the Sazerac. Absolutely ruin the Sazerac. It's too sweet.
I could see.
It's
I could
way
see.
too sweet. It has to be rye.
So really quick, Rob, you have said that same thing.
I know 1,000 times.
Every episode since that one, you've made a point to say
Elijah Craig.
talk about your pairings, and
I'm
then
telling
you'll say
you.
I have never liked.
I know.
have never liked Angel's Envy Rye
Until you pair it.
yeah, and so
Well,
you
I-
guys that have
Makers either.
listened-
He's
It's
getting there.
because I've said so many times how much I hate Angels Envy Rye, and
you
I'm like,
just-
that's just not true anymore.
yeah.
There's a time and a place.
There is a time and a place.
You're just like Peter
Except
trying
for
to
Jeff
make
the
it up to
Creed.
Jesus.
No Jeff the Creed though.
Oh, Jeff the Creed. I was looking for the what's the new one? They have an 8-year now.
Yeah,
I was looking
heard
for that.
decent things about it.
Yeah, I
thought,
didn't find any, but
I thought Jack told us the 8-year was okay. Do you remember?
yeah.
that?
At Will's, he
Yeah.
was talking about the
Yeah, he
newest
did,
one, because
yeah.
we asked him what he thought about.
Well, and
we asked him what he
Deshaun.
thought about Chattanooga, and then Jeff the Creed got brought up somehow. So
Well, I'll probably get an angry text from Deshaun now because he's going to remind me that we did a blind. I did a blind, and actually Jeff the Creed was in the blind, and I actually didn't mind it. So it's like, so
was
he's
it the
gonna-
Bloody Butcher?
No, it was
The
not.
good.
I don't know which one it was. It was just.
I
a
thought all of
regular.
their. I thought all of theirs.
I
were
thought it
Bloody
was
Butcher.
too, but this one didn't have that funk that a lot of them do. Maybe an open bottle on the bar for 3 years, or an open bottle on the bar for 3 years. Maybe some of that funk goes away. I
How
don't
many
know.
cigars did you smoke?
None.
Wow,
No, that was at lunch.
that's clean palate.
Clean palate.
Sadly,
I didn't
No
mind it though.
calibration.
I didn't mind it.
yeah.
So you've taken your whiskey steward class, right?
Mhm.
Your bourbon steward.
Just a bird. Yeah, we both did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did mine. I passed mine the other day.
Good.
I did
Did you
that.
even read the book, or did you just go for it?
I
I told
opened
him
the
not
book.
to,
I
yeah.
opened the book
Yeah.
and then took the test.
Yeah.
The crappy part was you have to pay for shipping now
For
to
what?
get the test. So I couldn't just
Well, because
log
they're
in
gonna
and pay for the test. They
Well,
want
'cause
to
they
send
ship
you the book.
they ship you the
Yeah.
Right.
yeah and the pin.
Do you know how
You
much
you
the
get your
shipping
pin.
is?
Uh-uh.
What?
It's $19 from Louisville to here.
Yeah, that's kind of silly.
You know what else
Yeah, I
I
don't
found out
remember it
today?
being that much
This is
to
what I
me.
found out because it'll be delivered today. It shipped from Greenfield
You could have driven
Okay,
down the road.
So here's the deal.
and then went to Louisville and then back here.
so there's
that's
that.
wild.
That's
It's
right, because there
FedEx.
is a pin maker in Greenfield.
Yeah.
Makes them, ships them there, and then,
And then
that's
yeah,
hilarious.
So at ping pong, so they could have just texted me and said, "Hey, your pin's ready."
I
That's
did
funny.
not realize.
Yeah,
that
I was kind of
that
bummed.
Was the case.
So I did. The first question that I had was, and I have to imagine there's probably not a wrong answer on the first. Well, at least this one. I know they're random, but the first one was, "What's the best way to enjoy bourbon?"
Yeah.
And like the answers were, any way you like,
Yeah.
with your friends and two other like off the cuff.
I know.
They
Yeah.
have to not like. I missed two. I hope that wasn't one of them because I don't remember.
Honestly,
like,
I think I missed
seeing that.
one too, and I went back and figured out which one I'd missed, and I'm like, no, I'm still right. You guys
Yeah,
are wrong on
yeah.
this one, and it was because it was one
Was it
you had
one
to
of the
fill
labeling
in.
ones?
You had to fill in the words,
Oh yeah, there was a couple of.
and
those.
I said metal hoops, and it wanted metal rings.
Oh,
I'm like,
how is
come on,
how is a white
guys.
oak barrel held together?
Yeah, I'm like, come on.
So like
metal
the
rings,
actual
metal hoops.
definition was it's held together by pressure with metal hoops.
Yeah,
But like,
and I put
is
metal
hoops
rings
really
or
part of
metal.
it? Because like it's pressure and
I know.
rings,
also, I would refer to that as tension, not pressure.
not pressure.
Yeah.
The book said,
But it was just talking about the rings only.
I know.
And I'm like, I think I used the word rings. They wanted me to use the word hoops. I'm like, come
Yeah.
on. It is what it is,
Come
guys.
on, Rob. Get
Damn
it
it.
together.
But I will say the next level, I know the one that Will's going through right now,
the
is
executive
going to be
bourbon
one
steward.
where you're going to have to read everything and remember everything.
Yeah,
that's
because that one's
pretty
like
detailed.
all around the world whiskeys.
It is,
and
yeah.
bourbons and it's.
I'd still
it's
like to
everything.
do that one or go down to Crowded Barrel and do the one down
I'd
there.
have to do the in-person one. I don't think I could do that one as an online class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't focus, and I hats off to you for doing online learning. I can't do that.
I
I
can
can
same
barely
way.
read, so like,
Are you dyslexic?
no, I just doesn't. I don't know what it is. By the time I get to the end of one page, I've lost everything.
That's what makes me think we need
I
to do a
can't do
trip
it.
down to the Wizard Academy down at Crowded
dude,
Barrel.
You know how expensive that is?
It's a
It's
lot.
not as bad as you think.
3 to 5K.
It
It
is,
includes your
except
boarding
for
and
if you
travel
go
and-
down there to the Bastards Ball, they knock 50% off of it. So it's
Dang.
$2,000. But that includes
And
the
then you're on it
entire
all the
week
time.
of food, lodging, class
And do
time,
you come out of sommelier?
sommelier, and anytime you're there, you can go to the big, massive wall and taste anything you want for the rest of your life.
Wow.
It's, I mean, for $2,000. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, I bet you the one that Will's doing, I bet you, I don't know what the price is on it, but it's got to be pretty expensive for that level. So honestly, and there's a way, if you don't go to the Bastards Ball, you can actually still get that 50% off discount. You go online and take their little, like, it's almost like the Bourbon Steward
Yeah,
class that
it's
they
like a
do. It's
preliminary.
like $150. You
Yeah.
pay for that, and then they'll knock 50% off of your $4,000.
Yeah.
It's not terrible. I mean, when you think of, because it does travel too, right? Like,
Yeah.
wasn't the lodging and
It's everything. I mean, you're literally staying on site in the
as
cabins
long as
on the
it's not
property.
Spirit.
Huh?
As long as it's not Spirit Airlines that get there.
Well, I'm
Oh,
sure
yeah.
you have to make your own way.
I think
down
the
there.
flight's on us.
Okay,
Yeah.
But
it's just the
everything-
lodging there, which
yeah,
could still
food,
be
everything.
I mean, that's still a pretty penny sometimes. So
Yeah. Yep. I think it'd be. I'm definitely in on doing it at some point. So, but it'd be fun to do it as a group.
I would love to do that. Yeah, it's a little easier to get to there than it is to Ireland, but
Yeah.
Still want to
I'm
do that
still
too.
down to go to Ireland. But
Yeah, I want to go to Ireland.
I like Texas though.
yeah.
I do too.
I could live there.
I don't think I
I
can
don't know
live there in
about
the
that.
summer. I'm not a big fan of them in the summer. It's
That's
hotter
where my
than
mom
hell.
lives, so I don't know if I could live there.
You don't like your mom?
I didn't say that.
I like your mom.
I've never heard of you going to Texas, Mike.
I've never been to Texas.
There we go.
How long does your mom live there?
18 years maybe.
Okay.
A long time.
This stuff is still freaking cold.
Yeah, I was waiting for it to warm up a little bit.
This reminds me of my tasting experience at Jack Daniels
Uh-oh.
because they put you in the tasting room at the end of the tour, and we had
Oh, and
bought.
it's-
Did they pull your old number 7 out of the freezer and pour it for you?
The answer is yes. Old number 7, gold, Sinatra, and there was one other. Yeah, I don't remember what the other one was. Oh, they had their single malt for us to try there.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
And that was a couple of years ago, so before they ever even put it out to the market. But it was like they pulled them and they poured them in plastic cups.
Oh,
Keep
God.
it classy, Jack. And they were just
Were they solo cups, red ones,
They were the mini ones.
the mini red ones?
mini-
Oh, I've got some in
clear.
the truck.
Clear. They were
Oh.
clear.
Well, you got to be able to see your Jack through the clear. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the dentist cups.
Well, and all of them walk you through the same thing. Now, the first experience with whiskey you have is sight. So just take a minute, look at your whiskey, swirl it around the glass a little bit.
Pour it in your hand.
Look at
See what it feels like.
Yeah. Smack them together. Smell it.
But it's just like, okay, this is old number 7. You guys,
Yeah.
please give me a break.
Yeah. Now, you guys have both tried the Jack bonded rye, haven't you?
Yes.
It's delicious.
I haven't tried the bonded.
You haven't
rye,
had that
I don't
one?
I'm
think.
getting it
I've had
in
that
here.
one.
I tried it last week when Kevin brought in a bunch of stuff for us to try. It's good.
I've had
It's good. It's
all of their special release rye offerings, like the twice barreled, the single barrel proof.
I haven't had those yet.
Right.
And yeah, you had the twice barrel.
Did I?
Whistle
Okay.
brought it in one time.
Oh, is that one he brought? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've been on a kick with that single barrel proof regular releases that they've been putting out, and those are crazy. Those are so good.
You know, that's the one thing, the only thing I think I'm going to miss about you,
What?
the only thing, just so you know,
The only thing.
is the times you're going to constantly call me out. I was like, no, yeah, you did try that. Because I forget everything I
I
tried.
know.
He's like, no, you
I
tried that.
know.
Oh, okay, good. I
Yeah.
tried that. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
you're like, I don't know what it tastes
So,
like, but
so
we'll
you
have a
still have to
list on
listen
the
to the
button.
show so
Yeah.
you can constantly call into me and tell me, no, you did. You tried it.
you
We'll
tried
put a
it.
macro on the board that'll only go to my ear, and if
Yeah.
I hit it, it's just going to go through all the whiskeys and bourbons that Rob
Well,
has
it's
had.
just funny drinking with Rob. Like, people will show up and have stuff for him to try, and he'll, like, I think that day we tried a Taylor barrel proof, a couple different Stag Juniors, Handy, that twice
Oh,
barrel.
yeah.
I mean,
rye.
nothing good.
Nothing, nothing
I
delicious.
was waiting for something good to pop
So
up,
like,
but-
so in that spread, I understand like not remembering a Jack
Yeah.
Daniel's twice barreled rye, but it was fantastic.
I'm sure it was. Honestly, there's not been any of the newer release Jack stuff that I haven't loved.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some that are better than other, but that rye was great. I'm excited to get in here. I think it'll be a good pour. We do have a. It's funny because we do have kind of a Jack crowd that come in here,
Yeah.
and sometimes they'll ask us, "Oh, I just want a Jack and Coke." I'm like, "Well, we don't have number 7, but we do have all these," and they're like, "Oh,
We
okay,
got
I'll take a bonded and
triple
Coke,"
mash.
and
I
they
would
try
tell
it, and
you
then they
just-
start drinking it neat. After
Just
that.
the regular single barrel.
Yeah.
I think it's
94.
94 proof. Yeah. It's so good. It
So
really
It is.
with the demographic like that, like you saying, you kind of have the demographic of that.
Rob's
with-
just teaching them to like good whiskey.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's a good thing. Thinking of other collabs this year, Rebel is sponsoring NASCAR now.
Are they really?
They have, I can't remember who it was. Maybe
I mean,
So-
come on, Rebel. You got it.
Okay, so listen to this. Luxco got bought out by MGP. So MGP is like the cash cow behind all of these things.
Rocketing.
So it's like they are propelling brands held by Luxco. That's pretty good. I
Yeah.
mean, they made fantastic products, but
It's a good market.
they are going to be a house name sponsoring NASCAR.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Where Bud Light took an L, Rebel's going to come up.
Yeah.
So I bring that up because with Brown Foreman and Jack, they were sponsoring McLaren,
Yeah.
F1, and I've read and heard things that it just seemed like off the cuff. I don't think like the F1
No,
fan base is really into
that needs to
Jack
be a
Daniels.
high-end
Like,
Scotch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Something like that.
that should be a Scotch.
Or
I
a
would also
wine,
give
wine.
that to Lincoln Tata. Like you
Yeah.
could if your bottles are regularly over $300, like
Yeah.
F1 and McLaren,
Or maybe
those
not
are your
Brown
maybe
Foreman,
just stick
yeah.
with a high-end wine or something for that kind of
You're gonna
stuff.
see a
That's your
F1 car with
crowd.
Jack and Coke on the side
Yeah,
of it.
Camus sponsoring F1. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Talk about
That's
overpriced
Dude,
bottles.
I
no,
did.
that's delicious.
Well, no, I'm not saying it's not delicious, but
It's
another
just-
that was on the menu last
Yeah.
night at Savor, and
Oh,
it was
okay.
I
like
had a pour of that at
$2.46.
Bongi's when I was up there. The
Camus?
Camus cab.
Yeah, I
Oh my
love
god,
Camus.
it was so good. Lisa's like, your pour was more expensive than your meal. I'm like, it was good.
So Camus at Meyer can regularly be had for $94 for the bottle.
You know what? After trying it, that I would do that.
Yeah, I think Sam's had it for like 86 or something.
Sam's and Costco are
Yeah.
the cheapest place to get that. Camus is my special occasion red wine, and I normally will buy it for my mother for a gift because it's one of her favorites, but she'll never
Buy it herself.
Buy it herself. It's
Yeah.
also nice enough of a wine that she is going to finish it in one night, and she knows, hey, I should probably invite somebody over. So it's the gift that gives back.
Yeah.
So she'll be like, hey, Isaiah, we're going to do steaks and Camus tonight. You want to come over? Like, yes.
You're like,
No, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a Jack Daniels night.
yeah. So
I
it's
have
not
been
bad.
Is
Really
your
getting into
is your
wines.
red the cab as well, or do you have
Yeah,
a different red you
yeah.
like? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My more regular drinking, like, oh, we're doing steak night around the house, whatever. It's a little bit expensive. It's about the $40 mark at Costco is Prisoner.
Okay, I've not had Prisoner.
It's a red blend. It's not fully dry like a Camus, but for what it is, and it has so many of those like French oak characteristics in there. I think it's great.
I'll tell you
I
another
absolutely
one
love it.
that you can find pretty much everywhere that I think is really good for the money. I can't remember what the price point is now because I haven't bought one in probably 20 years, but it was the Kendall Jackson cab. You can find it everywhere. It's not super
inexpensive.
cheap. It's
Yeah.
not super expensive, but the cab is very good and it's approachable and you can find it pretty much everywhere.
I think my cheap one would go to Josh.
Boone's Farm.
Josh Sellers.
Yeah.
Oh, Josh Sellers, yeah.
It's like
Oliver's not bad if you haven't tried
Oliver is not bad.
Theirs is actually pretty good.
I'm not a huge fan of their cab.
I'm not
But
either.
They their Red Zinfandel is great, and they also, and what is the other one that I don't know. It's in their Flight series. Their dry reds in the Flight series, which have it's called the Flight series. It's got birds on it. They only release them every once in a while.
They have a really cool.
but when they
browns.
do, you're talking like under $20, so it's a pretty easy pickup.
Yeah, they have a cool like tour and tasting that
Yeah.
they do there. It's a really nice place.
I know this is going to be shocking.
I'm sure it is.
It smells
Is it
like
warm
Old
yet?
Forester.
Oh,
It's got the Old Forester nose.
it definitely smells like Old Forester.
Oh, I want to let it warm up a little longer. We got a few more
It's
minutes
still
before we
a
get
little-
going here.
It's still a little chilly.
Yeah.
But yeah, cab's probably my go-to.
You know, that's one we ought to do. We ought
I
to,
think we should. Bring
you know,
in our
let me know.
favorite
I'll
cabs
buy a
and-
bottle in, or
Yeah.
or we can just
I've
bring
got a
one
couple.
bottle.
I've got a couple that Jen brought back.
I've got a
from
couple
San
at home,
Francisco
but
last
honestly,
year.
I don't know if they're any good. I think we bought them when we were at a winery or something, and I never opened them.
You
It
guys
could be
want to do
terrible.
wine next week?
Sure. Yeah,
That's
do
good.
wine next
That'd be
week.
fun.
Yeah,
wine
we-
or beer? Because I got a couple beers
Let's
that we
do
can try too.
wine.
Let's do wine. We can do beer
Okay.
another time
Yeah,
too.
okay.
We've-
I've got
we've
some
done
great beer.
pairings.
A real good friend of ours, Dave Lakes, he comes up here a lot. He lives down in Bargersville, and actually, shout out to the guys in Bargersville.
Yeah.
There's a new cigar lounge in Bargersville that just
Okay.
opened up. I don't know much about it. I haven't been there. Can't tell you
Premium?
anything.
What was it called?
I don't remember. You could probably
I saw
say the
them
name, and I
share
wouldn't
the page
remember
the
it.
other day.
So I want to make a trip down. So Dave, you're listening, hit me up. I want to go down there and we'll meet up down there and check out the place. I love supporting other people doing similar things. But he actually, his son owns Sonder Brewing over in Cincinnati.
Oh yeah.
And he gave me a flight of all of their stout barrel releases. And I think I've got like 5 or 6 bottles of it. So that's a lot of beer to drink on a show, but we could grab one of those and do that on a show sometime too. So I know you've only got another week,
Yeah.
but you can always come back and drink with us sometime.
It's okay. I can make that work.
Yeah.
But,
And I know Deshong and Will are both beer drinkers as well. So
Yeah.
we could
We've got
definitely
a
have a
couple-
fun show.
We've got a couple at home that one of our friends blended that we haven't opened yet. He passed away 2 years ago, so we've just been sitting on them, waiting to try them.
Some beers.
Yeah, peanut butter stout.
Oh, okay.
See,
couple
I've
really
never
good
been
ones,
into the
so-
peanut butter
I
stouts.
can't get into
I
it
used
either.
to, and I haven't drank them, so I'm not anticipating them being like my favorite.
I mean,
thing.
Screwball's great.
So another wine that, it's actually a rosé, which I'm not a huge rosé fan
Yeah.
because they're usually way too sweet.
Yeah,
But there's
yeah.
one that we tried when we were in Tiburon in California last year. Sancier makes a really dry rosé,
Oh.
and it's
More like a
more
semi-sweet kind of thing?
Yeah, it's more like a semi-sweet and not so much like a typical rosé. So I have to bring one of those too.
Okay.
It wouldn't. You definitely wouldn't think it would go good with the cigar.
Yeah.
Because obviously you can't smoke anywhere in the state of California.
Yeah.
But the guy's shop that we went to was nice enough to let me sit on his patio and smoke a cigar and sold me a bottle of this.
You rebel.
So, yeah. Until his neighbor was complaining because her shop smelled like smoke because her doors were open.
Come on.
Then I had to go. But
She whiffed one little waft of smoke coming through, and oh my God.
right, it was his girlfriend
killing
too.
the trees.
The trees are dying.
Have you guys gotten into like Pinot Noirs? or
I have
anything
not.
that?
That's
I'd
where
like
I
to.
started. I started
Okay,
with Pinots. So
I
Jen's-
like some Pinots.
Yeah, so Jen Zahn is a big wine fanatic, big
Yeah.
into champagne. So like she got us into most of this stuff, and
Yeah.
I like the reds
Yeah,
more
me
than
too.
I like whites.
Me too. Yeah, I'm not
Jen
a big
couldn't
white
drink
fan.
reds. It's something with the dyes. I don't know if it's an allergy.
Well, and the
There are, like,
reds,
actual red allergies.
the whites do not give me a headache, but most of the reds, especially the ones that have the sulfites added for those give me headaches.
Yep.
But the whites don't typically do that. But I'm just not a fan of the flavor of the whites.
So
typically.
we were having that conversation about like the tannins and the sulfites that go into like the aging process and the
Yeah.
skins that they leave in there.
Yep.
So yeah, I think maybe next week that'll be a good topic to go on and like what makes a red and how
And honestly,
white
that's
is white.
that's something I've been wanting to do because Lisa and I are kind of in that funk where we're like, gosh, we have a couple days off. What are we going to do? I'm like, we always go to distilleries or we go to cigar lounges. I'm like, that's all we do every week.
Dude,
we want to get
wine.
back to
Go
because
find
we
some
used to
wine.
do the wine trips and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of like to get back into it.
Yeah.
My
It
only
is
fear
really
is
refreshing to be in a spirit where you don't know that much about.
right.
Yeah.
It genuinely
It is.
is. That's one of the things that I've loved about rum recently is like I'm a noob when it comes to the whiskey space. Like my blinders are up. Like I'm not going to be fooled by your marketing. But
Yep.
like it comes to rum, like tell me whatever you want to.
Right.
Like I'm in for it.
Sold.
Yeah.
Like it's just fun.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, like, here
It's nice to learn new things.
here in the whiskey space, like I'm almost cynical when a brand tells me all this and that, and it's just because I've seen it a million times.
right. Yeah, we've said it a million times. It's when you come out and say you're the first one to ever do anything,
Yep.
odds are that's not true. It's stretching the truth.
Yeah.
Not a lot of other
There's not much more you can do.
spirits that are saying that you're doing the first thing
No.
here, first thing there.
No.
Now, one thing I saw, and I know I sent you guys this picture in the group text, was the egg-shaped concrete
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
stills.
Yeah.
So the interior was
Was
lined
it a
with
still
stainless.
Or a
Um,
fermenter.
It was a fermenter. I'm sorry,
Fermenters, yeah.
fermenter. So the inside was lined with stainless because obviously concrete is porous.
Yeah.
But it had something to do with the fact of, and this was in the cellar anyway, so like
Yeah.
it's relatively temperature controlled, but it had something to do with the recirculation of like the temperature in the air, and it had like the spout at the top, so it touched every part of the inside.
Where was this again?
It was at Cake Bread, I think, in Napa Valley.
Okay.
So one of theirs, and that was one of the like really in-depth tours that we went on. So if you ever want to go for wine tours in Napa Valley, go in like January.
Yeah.
You have to sign up for most of them. Like a lot of them,
Yeah.
you have to sign up for. You can't just
Right.
walk in the door. But in January, it's cold, it's raining, nobody goes.
Yeah.
Just walk in the door.
Yeah.
You get a private tour because nobody goes.
Yeah.
So it was
That's awesome.
it was really private. It was really nice.
That's
And there's-
cool.
There's been a lot of stuff that we learned off that trip. So but the egg shaped one, it was weird. Because that was the first thing we asked was, well, concrete's porous, so how does it not just like soak up into all of that, or like how much product are you losing in the fermentation process? And that's when we learned that it was lined with stainless, which I've also learned is probably not the best material to use inside a fermenter. But
Well, and I wonder
whatever.
is the concrete really there just more for a insulator kind of thing?
I figured it was just insulation. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, but it's one of those marketing things. It's
Oh,
your
yeah.
story, but
We're the first that ever did it.
Yeah. You go to any of the other ones, and it's just this big vat, and
Yeah.
they have the window in the bottom where you can see in, and
Tell you the ones I appreciate more are the ones that come back and say, you know what, this is an ancient method of doing this, and we decided to try it and see how we could do it. I like that where they're kind of going back to the old style,
we mash
trying
the
it.
grapes with our teeth and then put it in.
Yeah.
Well, and that was something that Leopold Brothers did in the whiskey space is they did a rye, and you know what? I have to commend them for doing such an old recipe and like a time honored tradition, but it was a flop. They teamed up with George Dickel for a release, and it was just like,
Nope.
man, I'm not sure that is it.
That didn't work.
Well, it also ended up being a $120-ish Dickel product.
Yeah.
So
Well, and before we get into some of the other stuff here,
yeah,
a couple of shout outs I want to give out. Obviously, Deadwood Live, this table. We love Derek and what he does. He he's actually taking on new jobs, so he's a little bit busier right now, but he still is doing the work. So yeah, if you want an amazing table like this, or barrel chairs, or anything to do with barrel wood or live edge, he's the guy to go to in our region. He lives between here and Greenfield, so he's not very far away. But he'll make something special and basically an heirloom product for you. He's on Facebook, Deadwood Live, and that's the best way probably to contact him. Also, DED, yes, DED Wood. That's his initials, DED. The other one, Aladino, is a sponsor. We're going to be signing on with them. So Aladino is a sponsor of our shop and of our show now. So thank you guys. We appreciate you too. We will be having an event with Trey Mack and Aladino around the Final Four again, just like last year. It's always a blast. You got to get out here for that. So just wanted to thank those two sponsors. They're killing it for us. So appreciate those guys a lot.
So can we get into
Let's
the
get into the old Fort? Yes. Yeah, I'll tell you.
It's definitely warmed up.
The nose
Take a big whiff on the nose.
It's oaky Old Forester. Like
but take a big whiff on it.
It's Old Forester.
It's like you get that little bit of almost green apple kind of thing going in there.
I could see that.
But you do
There's
get that
almost
oak.
a marshmallowy vanilla component to this.
It's a lot of the similar things I would get out of a
I was gonna
20
say, like, fluff.
or 10.
Yeah.
Like marshmallow fluff.
All right, let's go. Oh, damn. They did it again. Oh, my God. It hangs on the palate. And it keeps
finishes
building.
With, it almost
Candied bread.
It to me is like angel food cake.
Yes.
Vanilla.
That's the bread I'm thinking of. Yeah, the angel food cake. Oh,
That is wild to me.
that is delicious.
What's funny is like normally the oak tannins hang out on the finish, everything.
No
but that's like the first thing that you
I got
get,
oak
like
on
that,
the front
that
and not in
oakiness.
the
Yeah.
finish.
And then it just
That's
goes
nice.
sweet. They should have called this birthday bourbon. It's like birthday cake.
Yeah.
Well, like we said earlier, we don't. That's the age statement on birthday bourbon's not
Not much different.
really a public knowledge thing.
No.
So it could
This
be
is-
right in line with that.
This is honestly of the 3 birthday bourbons I've tried, this crushes
I
each
take
one
this
of them
100%.
over big time. I've still never had a birthday bourbon I've liked to the point of the price point, I should say.
So I know you're oak sensitive.
Yeah.
Are you oak sensitive in general, or are you oak sensitive like on the finish?
In general.
In general?
It is.
Oh.
It doesn't seem too much.
No, I think this is really well balanced. Way better balanced than a certain Elijah Craig product that we have beaten that dead horse into the ground.
That's a good point too. We'll bring
Yeah.
up in a minute. Go ahead, finish your.
But no, I am oak sensitive. Some people love the oakiness to the point where they will drink something that is predominantly oak on the palate, and
I don't seek that.
that's not me. A
Me
lot
either.
of times the oakiness, if it is the predominant note, comes off as wood shaving, or in some of the younger products that have an oak tannin problem, it shows up to me as pencil shavings.
Yeah.
Like you just dumped out the pencil shaver that was on the wall in your elementary classroom. Like
Drying out your tongue and everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
I don't enjoy that.
No.
Which is why Elijah Craig 18 shocked me with the cigar. Like
Yeah.
I didn't think I liked that bottle.
Rob's
But when-
new favorite line: "Until you paired it with a cigar."
Yeah, it is. It is true.
Yeah. Well,
Yes, I
and,
agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's the thing. Like you brought up Elijah Craig, that C923, we beat the dead completely. Will actually said he had gotten a bottle and he tried it and he said it was totally different.
Yeah, he was
So-
in New Orleans last week, and
Okay,
he tried
so-
a
One
different
thing I want to,
so-
hold on. I want to ask out any of you guys that have a bottle that you absolutely love. You don't have to bring me a sample. Get the laser code on the side of the bottle
Oh, I'd love
and
to
take a
compare.
picture of it and send it to me, because I would like to see, because there's from what I'm hearing,
There's
two different laser codes, and I want to see if it's different than the one we have, because the one we have is just
It has to
oaky
be.
as hell. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that maybe that's the only reason is we got the batch that was more oaky, and everyone else that's doing these reviews are getting the other batch.
So I watched a Bourbon Junkies video, and they did a blind, and they blinded a bunch of people between they poured. It was a 3-way blind where they poured 2 of the same laser code and 1 of the other.
Oh, okay.
In that, so they blinded it that way, which I thought, yeah, I mean,
Fantastic.
doing it that way kind of shows like if your 1 and 3 are the same thing, and you put the third one in last place, it's like, okay,
There's something wrong. Yeah.
But they all went through it, and they said there is a difference, and there is one that is better, but they're not that far off.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
But honestly, if that bottle was just a tick or 2 lower on the oak tannins on
It'd
it,
be amazing.
probably
it would be
fine.
fine.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's just it. It's that oak tannic
From
is
start
what's
to finish.
kicking me. So maybe for someone that's not oak sensitive, they would say, "Oh, it's
Yeah.
not much different."
Totally.
But I would love to see that. See if maybe that's what it is. And honestly, if Heaven Hill knows one of them is better than the other, they're probably sending the better ones
Yeah.
to those people to review.
I would imagine.
So
Which we learned.
We've thrown them. We've thrown a lot of the reviewers under the bus on that one, but that could be exactly the reason why. And we know from Will, and we know Will's palate, that he loved it. So
I haven't seen him since he got back from his trip. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that, because I'm curious what he picked up that was different.
The other thing that we can say about Will that night is that he was not clean palated, and he had fat fingers when he was texting
His
us
liver
about
hurt?
how good that Elijah Craig Barrel Proof was.
I will say there's a couple of possible segments coming up on the
New
show.
segments coming to the show soon.
One might be Will's fat finger facts text of the week, and then the other one we're talking about doing is what did Dr. J find on the internet
Yep.
this week?
I've been trying to
Dr.
convince
Scott's
him to do
dipshits.
that
That's it.
forever. Yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah.
those likely are going to become segments here
Yep.
soon. I will say right now, as soon as we put out there, we're going to do
Yeah.
fat finger text. We'll never get a bad one from Will
No.
again. He's going to
100%.
review every text from that
Yeah.
point forward.
I was cracking up at his video he sent with him and Becky.
Oh, that was
With the
hilarious.
wand.
Yeah, so he had one of those wands,
The Harry Potter wands.
shoots out flash paper. It lights and shoots, and he was waving it at his wife, telling him to get another pour, and you could just see her middle finger rising from the camera, and then he shoots
whiskey
it
summon.
straight into the couch.
Yeah, almost catches the couch on fire. It was awesome.
Yeah.
That's actually the new intro
For the show.
recording is going to be, oh, shit, damn. Oh.
That was great.
So, yes, new segments coming
That would be
soon.
that would be some funny audio to
Yes.
clip of just him like wiping his couch violently, trying to make sure
It's
didn't
going
catch
in
It's
the
got to be a
macros.
button.
Yeah.
It's going
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
macros. 100%.
Oh shit! I'm sorry.
And then a giggle.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
And then, of course, the babbling baby in the snow. That's a
Yeah.
good one.
That was a good one, too.
Yeah. That's a good one. It
yum, 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 yum,
made me think of the goat. Have you seen the goat?
The one's the screaming
The
goat.
screaming one?
Yeah,
They're like, "La, la, 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 la."
yeah. How the tongue's hanging
Yep.
out. Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that one. Hockey news this week.
yeah.
What do you got?
Do you follow the other, like, I know you follow
I
the
follow
fuel,
a
but
lot
do you,
of-
do you follow, like, the ECHL? than
Somewhat.
them?
Mostly the fuel on that.
Yeah, so really just the fuel, but
More NHL.
I read an article the other day about new addition to the ECHL, rounding it up to 30 teams
Mm-hmm.
with a team in Bloomington, Illinois. Haven't had a name yet.
Which, if you've never been to Bloomington, Illinois, just know there's nothing but fast food chains there.
Yeah. Yep.
So you can get you a fast food burger, some fries, and hopefully soon hockey.
Okay.
There is actually a good brewery there. I forget
Ooh,
who
what's that?
it is, but they have a ton
I'll
of
have to
sours.
look that up. I don't go to Bloom. Oh, I love sours.
Yeah,
I do too.
yes,
Sours is my
I
jams
gotta
now.
look it
I
up.
flipped. Yeah, So the same people that own the fuel. That's why I caught my eyes because I think Fox 59 posted the link.
Okay. Okay.
So Hallett Sporting is the owners
That sounds right.
of the fuel.
Yeah.
Are expanding that team for Bloomington. So
Oh,
ECHL's 30th team.
So are they? Who are they going to be a
owned
farm
by
league
them.
for?
Okay.
I'm not
Underneath?
sure. I didn't go that far into it. I stopped after.
Have
I
to
saw
see,
that-
So,
because
fuel,
obviously
two.
the ECHL is one step or two steps below the NHL.
The
So the
brewery
fuel-
is Distill. DESTIH.
Oh, I've seen them before. I've seen that
Yeah,
name
heard of
so
that
before.
they're technically in Normal, Illinois, but Bloomington and Normal are the
They're right
same
there.
place.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to check
So
that out.
so the ECHL, like the fuel are a farm league for the Ice Hogs. The Ice Hogs are a farm league for the Blackhawks. So you that's your
It
chain of
might be
command.
another one for the Blackhawks then.
I can't imagine with
It-
it being
it came
30.
up, though.
There's enough teams where somebody didn't
Well, because
have
there was
one.
2 more out west, which I guess not technically west, but what was it? Like Tahoe, there was a new one out there in 2023 and another one in
Yeah.
remember, like up north somewhere. But
Yeah.
it came in on the like 29 and 30 with them. So that'll be cool to see.
Yeah, it
You
will
know,
be.
more competition.
Absolutely.
So
Okay.
that's nice.
So quick round on this 1924, and then we can
Yes.
probably end the show.
Yep.
Is this something you would chase? 1, 2, would you pay over retail for it?
I'd have a hard time paying over retail. I would chase it, yes. First of all,
Like if you could chase the truck and find it at retail at a shop, you would do that.
yes,
Okay.
100%. I would have a
don't-
hard time paying over retail.
I typically don't like buying anything over retail, honestly. So,
But
I mean, I
$5,
might,
$10,
I might
you
go
know,
$5-10,
yeah,
but I'm not
110
gonna,
to
I'm not gonna do
120.
$200 for this bottle.
Sure. I saw it like the very
Although
first
I
time.
love it.
Very
Yeah.
first thing I saw about the 1924 after I got the email from Old Forester, I looked it up, and one of the secondary websites had it for like $350 already.
I've seen
Yeah.
it around the $200 mark locally.
And
So
honestly, once people try this, the way secondary goes,
It'll flip.
it's gonna flip big. I mean, and that sucks. I hate it, but it's going to.
So, putting this into perspective for you, other bottles that are in that same secondary market category would be like Midwinter Nights Dram, Stag. This is kind of in that $2 to $250 range. And,
Yeah.
what else?
So, do you think being bottled and bond?
Single barrel Taylor.
That's a
Yeah.
That's the thing
That's
is
up
like
on
you're
two
talking
now.
about items that are like barrel proof stuff. You think by being bottled and bond, it'll stun it from getting too high?
I think so.
Yeah.
See, I don't know though.
I mean, I
'cause
don't mind
it's-
it. I mean, the flavor on it's delicious. I don't care about the proof, but
If
does
this
it
were
sink
a
it?
cash strength offering,
no question.
Oh.
this would be a
$500-600 bottle probably.
I
question.
think you'd be right. Yeah. But it being bottled in bond, and at that point, you're at that 225, 250 range with it. You're saying, okay, do I want to spend my money on this that is very good,
Yeah,
or do I want to buy a Stag Junior?
right. Well, and I wonder, and this would be kind of interesting. I'd love to talk to them about. And obviously, this is something they've been thinking about for a while. It's 10 years old, but how many people? I mean, I've had people come in here and ask me all the time, "Hey, can you do a 1915?"
Yeah.
And it's just 1 ounce of 1910, 1 ounce of 1920. Were they trying to meet that market at that 100 proof range of being there? Because that's about 100
Between the
proof
two.
when you're doing the two of
Yeah.
them together.
That could be.
It could be because there's almost a cult following on a 1915.
And that was some of like the things that I was seeing with the controversy between the limited release and just like a new staple for Old Forester was this a mash that they just forgot about? Did they just like find this somewhere in the warehouse in the basement and they just said,
Ooh, this is
let's
good.
do it. Yeah.
Let's do it.
But
yeah.
then they have enough obviously to do some sort of limited release for who knows how long. before
I
they come
think
out with the next
really
one.
what they
I mean,
saw is, and they're in the Brown
100.
Foreman catalog, but they saw what Jack Daniels did with their 10-year-old
Sure.
and how big of a hit and success that was. This is similarly priced to the
Yeah.
Jack Daniels 10-year-old
Yeah.
that dropped to the market. So they were like, hey, we have this stuff. I don't know what's stopping us from putting it out. Could we have done a huge release? Well, they actually did that this year with, I think it was a $2,500 bottle that Brown Foreman Reserve Did you get that email?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, and it was I hopped on that email so quickly. I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be."
Oh, that's
great.
the one you
Like,
sign up for. Yeah, I
like
did.
whatever.
Yeah.
And I signed up, and I was like, I added it to cart, not realizing it, and then I was like,
Oh.
I don't have that.
No.
See, I didn't make it that far. I
Yeah.
got the email and I clicked the link, and
it
as
was
soon as
already
I
sold
clicked it,
out.
it said out of stock, and I was like,
Yeah.
well, okay.
Yeah, I could
I'll
have.
try it eventually, I guess.
I could have bought one, but in my head,
That's up there.
I quickly had to do the thing of like, is any bottle worth $2,500? I don't think so.
No.
Then
no.
my other thought was, is secondary market going to support this, even being a $2,500 bottle? And
think
you know what?
it's-
I'm
nope.
glad I didn't, because
Now they're half.
secondary market, it will get you like $1,200 for it.
Oh, wow.
It
Yeah.
fell to half
That's a
this year,
shame.
which is, oof.
I just keep your bottle,
Yeah.
crack it.
Yeah, it is. It's a collector's bottle. That's what it is. If
Yeah.
you're a Brown Foreman person, it's a bottle you have to have. For most people in the universe, it is not a bottle they have to have.
No.
What would you pay for pour
of what?
of the 1924? What would you, not what you're going to charge, what would you pay for that?
If this
I pay
were,
$25.
if this were at a bar and it was under 50, I would buy the pour.
I'd be
just to try it.
For an ounce or two?
It would have to be two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd
I've
say
seen
I'd say
others
maybe
that are
up to $30
10 to
for a
15
2-ounce
for a
pour.
one, so
Yeah.
For me, our pour price is going to be about $25 here. So
Yeah,
I'm there.
I think it is an adequately priced bottle for what it is.
I think so too.
Is this a GOAT bottle for me? No.
No.
But if I see one on the shelf, I'm gonna buy it.
Yes, I will too.
Until it hits
I'm not
that
gonna
glass.
chase it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you there. You did mention Jack 10 and 12. We'll be getting those in here too. We got those
Supposedly.
coming. No, he's already got my cases reserved once they get the stock for me. So
Tight.
we'll
they
have
won't
that.
go down to one bottle. It'll be a case.
It'll be a case. That's right.
Well, Jack does put enough out to satisfy a market, and
And that Jack 12 is so
it would
freaking
surprise
delicious.
me if Old Forester didn't do the same.
They have
Yeah.
to. They have all the McLaren people emailing them all the time asking for more products.
Well, and I will say on this 1924,
Yeah.
their model on this was they're only, at least in Indiana, on premise, which is us, are only going to be able to get 1 or 2 bottles. That's it.
Yeah.
All the other ones are going to go out to be sold at retail, so you
Gotcha.
can buy bottles of them. So you're probably going to be able to find this at Total Wine and some of the liquor stores but it'll be gone fast.
Yeah.
I mean, people are going to wait for it to drop, and they're going to be out there, and they're going to be sitting on the shelves screaming at the
I've already seen
ladies
some at
and
Total
stuff,
Wine
you know?
and some of the bourbon pages where people tried to hide them behind other products.
Yeah.
And, all you got to do is bend over and look at them.
Yeah.
And there's one that somebody very poorly hid for somebody else at some
Yeah.
point, because I'm sure Total Wine, everybody's going to do one per person. So
Yeah.
don't hide them. Buy it.
Just buy it.
Just buy it.
And
Yep.
let the person behind you buy
Right.
one too.
Right.
Buy it.
Yeah.
It's good.
And if you
I
see
enjoy
it, just buy it and tell your buddies to go get it. Don't blast it on social media, because as soon as you do that, it's already all gone. And then everybody shows up and is pissed at the store because they didn't have more than the 2 cases they were allotted.
Yeah.
Buy it and share it. What's the best way to drink bourbon?
with friends.
Exactly.
With your friends.
Exactly.
That's what I put. That was my answer. I hope it
With
wasn't
my
wrong.
friends.
It was wrong.
It was
That
wrong.
probably
the best
was.
way to drink
It's
bourbon
not wrong
is
here.
to not crack it and stare at it on a glass shelf.
Sell it.
Yeah.
It's the best way to drink it.
Yeah, sell it.
All right, guys. Any last thoughts on the cigar and pour?
I don't think so.
I will
love
say
that
both these pours were
Mildias
fantastic.
Bellicoso.
I did too.
Well, you can find me on Instagram at the Whiskey Pastor.
Find me on Instagram, Spencer Lees, and both are visuals.
Yep. And I'm at Final Third Cigar. So thanks a lot, guys. And we will see you next week.
Cheers.
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 Come get the 1924.